Hi everybody, making my video for the dyeing. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm only going to do 2 buckets, or 2 colors today. It's actually kind of crappy, not really sunny and cold out, so really don't want to be playing in a lot of water, as well as I'm going to do the blankets first, and that takes about an hour, and then I'm going to throw the onesies in, and then I have to go pick my daughter up from school, so it's just easier to do it this way today. So as you can see, I've already put the salt in the buckets. The directions say 8 tablespoons of salt. So both bucket already has the salt in it. I just need to put the water in it. I'm going to be doing this outside, so I'm filming this stuff inside. I will get the water in the buckets and get everything kind of ready, take it outside, and then it should go faster from there. I'm using Dylon dye. I will be using this Bahama Blue and Intense Violet. The bear blanket, I don't know if you can see them, that will be the blue, and the flower blanket I am doing purple. The directions say, and it probably won't focus, will it? No, the camera won't focus. So I will put you down here while I read the directions. Wash fabric, weigh fabric, wash thoroughly, leave damp. I have already washed these blankets and just set them aside. I will be getting them wet under in the sink and then wringing them out, due to the fact I have a front load washer and it pretty much dries everything. Like seriously, my washer takes an hour and a half to wash clothes, to run a full cycle washing clothes, and my dryer takes less than 30 minutes. So pretty much as you're pulling clothes out of the washer, they're mostly dry. Very few things are still wet. And so that I thought, you know what, instead of waiting an hour and a half to wash all this, I'll just get it wet. It's already been washed before I put it. I basically washed it all and then put it in a plastic bag till I was doing or got the buckets out and separated it. Using rubber gloves, which they are right here. Using rubber gloves, dissolve the dye in 4 cups of warm water, stirring thoroughly. Fill bowl/stainless steel sink with enough warm water for fabric to move freely. I'm going to put the warm water in these 2 buckets before I take them outside. Submerge or stir in 8 tablespoons of water. That is what I've already got, the 8 tablespoons of stir in 8 tablespoons of salt. That's already in the bucket, so when I put the water in, I can stir it in right away. Add dye and stir well. I skipped a step. Submerge fabric in water. Stir for 15 minutes then stir regularly for 45 minutes. Rinse fabrics in cold water, wash in warm water, and dry away from direct heat and sunlight. The last time I did this, I just hung dry them till they were dry, then I washed them and hung dry them again. And okay, there's where I got mixed up. Using rubber gloves, dissolve the dye in 4 cups of warm water, stir thoroughly. So I have purchased this container that I will be doing the dye mixing in. I will be doing the blue first, rinsing it out, and then I will be doing the purple. But this is what it's starting out as, and I will see you guys in a bit once I get everything set up outside. Okay, so I filled the buckets. Here's my spoon. So both buckets are filled with water. I have got my blankets wet, and I have 4 cups of water in here, and I have 4 cups of water in here, so I can do this all at once. As I said, I'm going to do the Bahama Blue first, and hopefully you can see the color better now that we're outside. Kind of dark. Like I said, it's a little gloomy outside and chilly today, so probably should have done it yesterday, but there was other things I needed to get done first. That, and I needed to purchase the drying rack. And so I will mix the blue. Let's put all the powder. It comes out of, when you feel it in the package, it kind of feels liquidy, but it's a powder. I had somebody ask me when I had mentioned doing this before why I picked Dylon dye and not Ritz dye. I am part of a cloth diaper group, and when I was doing some pre-folds, because personally pre-folds, if you're going to use pre-folds with cloth diapering, I don't like seeing all the staining on them. That just bothers me a lot. Oh, good thing I got that one. And also be careful, because I just noticed some of the powder got on the blue blanket, so that's okay because it's going to be the one that I'm dyeing blue. But anyways, I wanted to dye my pre-folds, and I was going to go purchase, you can see it comes out really dark blue, but it's not that color. I was going to go purchase some Ritz dye, or actually I had some Ritz dye, because this was way back when I think heat set paints were just coming out. And I probably shouldn't have brought black buckets because it's hard to see if everything's stirred in and mixed. But this was back when Reborners used to do what was called the purple wash. You would get, there wasn't any doll kits, so you would purchase you would just go like to Walmart, Target, Kmart, wherever you shop, and purchase a doll, and you would take it apart, strip all the paint off, and then in order to get the like the natural undertone, you would shove it in purple dye, or you would put purple dye in it. Oh, see, this is, some of this will wash out, but this is the Bahama blue, and I really love this color. It's a rich color. But I had some dye, some Ritz dye, so I was going to use that to do these pre-folds, and everybody in the cloth diaper group was like, no, 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 no. Do not do that. First of all, Ritz dye washes out. It does not adhere to the fabric as well. This Ritz dye does have more colors than Dylon, I will say that. But Ritz dye, the chemical makeup of it, there's some kind of ash in this dye that causes it to stay better. I am not sure. You can probably YouTube or Google what the difference is. But they said no, no, no. Because as your baby uses those diapers, that dye may kind of come off on the baby. So, plus when you wash, it might come out. So my friend and I went on the internet, found pretty much every color of Dylon dye we could find. I mean, I ordered some Dylon dyes from the UK, which I believe is where it is from. But we basically did all those cloth diapers with that, and still to this day, that was 2008 when we did that, and it is now 2017, so almost 10 years later. I didn't really use the cloth diapers as pre-folds. I ended up using them as burp cloths, and they are still very rich in color. Like, I don't think I've had fading on any of them. So this is after stirring it for a bit. I am going to pause the camera to go rinse everything off, and I will be doing the the ultra or intense violet. Well, I let this sit for a little bit. But I am really, so far, enjoying the results of this. This is the Blue Bear blanket. It's the Baja Blue. And then the flowers will be intense violet. And there was a bee blanket, and that one will be, I can't remember the name for the yellow. But that's what color that one will be. And then I also have two Aiden and Anais blankets that are just white. Plain white that I purchased secondhand, and they had some stains on them, so I will be dyeing them as well in my other colors. But I will be right back to do purple. And now we are back to do this intense violet color. So as I said, I already had my water pre-measured out, if I can get it open. I also would caution her and kind of voice that these items will never, well, aside from the stuff that's just like this bowl that I had my wet items sitting in and this container that just contained water, these buckets will never be used for anything other than dyeing. I will probably end up recycling them when I'm done with all my dyeing. The spoon and this little container will never be used for anything food-wise. Once it's touched the chemicals, I personally do not want to risk putting it, or my children getting, I don't know what it would be, but I just personally don't want to use that again. So, as I said, these will probably be recycled when I'm done. I'll just pull the handles off because we can recycle any kind of plastic here. They don't have a limit of what numbers, so they will probably all be thrown in the recycle bin. I purchased them all at the dollar store. Honestly, oh, and the other question was, where do I get Dylon dye? I purchased it at Walmart. The ones that I got came from Walmart. Hobby Lobby sells it as well. So those are two retailers that you can purchase from. And as I mentioned, when I did my other stuff, the cloth diapers and such, I went on the internet and I ordered some from the UK. I ordered some from like eBay. I mean, I was getting it all over. We had all sorts of colors. Like, I looked up and saw what all Dylon dyes, and here's the purple. It's a very, like a royalty purple almost. It's a very pretty purple when it's, you kind of try not to splash it too much. Oh, that one didn't want to mix it again. So I guess it'll get mixed in here better, hopefully. But the purple is a very intense purple. I am getting a little splotches here and there. This is my kids' table. I'm not too worried about it. It's been through worse. Let's get some color splashes here and there. You can see it's dirty already. Probably shouldn't have done that. But you can purchase this at Walmart, Hobby Lobby. It's in the same area. Ritz Dye in Walmart is in like, usually like with the laundry detergents and such. In Walmart, this dye is not. It is close. It's in the craft section. And at Hobby Lobby, they're both in like the fabric section. So I'm going to spread this out. Oh, it looks like I got a little blue on it, but I'm thinking the purple will cover this up. And these are those muslin blankets that I got from, what's it called now? It's that website that you can get codes to get things off of Amazon for free or very inexpensive. And like you can already see it grabbing some of the purple. It is a very, once it sits, it is a very rich, a very, I can't think, royal purple. It's basically what I can equate it to. Like a very, very, very nice purple. And as you can see, some of what's already catching the color, and the longer it sits, the more it absorbs. It's a very pretty purple. But, I mean, even if you're not buying something, I mean, when I saw these on that website, and I saw they were just white with the black outlines, I knew instantly I wanted to dye these. But, like with the onesies that I will be doing, those are onesies that my children wore. There are stains on them. I have washed them numerous times. I have bleached them even, trying to remove the stains. And yeah, it's just, I cannot for the life of me get the stains out. So I figured, you know what, I am going to be selling them at a children's consignment sale. Actually, at first I was just going to throw them away. And I thought, you know what, they've got that consignment sale going on. I'm already wanting to dye these blankets. Got the dye. It's not like I'm purchasing the dye just to do this. But, see, look at the purple is already getting very dark. It's a beautiful purple. But I've already got the dye. You know, let's go ahead and do the onesies, is what my thought was. You know what? Worst case scenario, I just bundle them all up for the consignment sale and one plastic bag for an inexpensive price. Just like if somebody desperately needs onesies and doesn't care what they look like. But I am going to try to upcycle them. And even at that, like when I was trying to prepare myself for this video, like I said, I've done it before. But, okay, you shouldn't really be mixing colors, but I do not have anything to wipe this off. But here is my blue, as it's sat a little bit longer. It is a, like I said, this is also a very beautiful color. But, you know, with the onesies, if they turn out, I can bundle them by size and sell them. But I am going to upcycle them. I will be upcycling them. I mean, as I was mentioning before, I was watching kind of videos to get an idea about doing it. And as I've said, I've done it before, but I had my friend with, so I really wasn't as sure of myself this time. But doing it this time, I decided to look up videos. Sorry about that, I just had a brain freeze. And one of the videos was a lady from the UK that she said that she must have gotten the package. She got a package of black, which I do have a black one that I will be doing. She had a package of black that she was doing, or that she had gotten like one of those beauty bag type surprise boxes. And she's like, I'm not even sure where I got this. That's the only thing I can think of, because this is not something I would purchase. And so she had some black jeans. And anybody that has had black jeans knows what happens to black jeans as you wear them and wash them. They fade, they turn white in creases. And she said she was saving money for her wedding, and she really didn't want to go out and buy some new black jeans. So she's like, you know what, figured give this a whirl, because I'm figuring I'm gonna have to purchase black jeans anyways. So she went out, or she put her black jeans and she dyed them, and she said that when she took her black jeans out and washed them and dried them and everything you're supposed to do, she's like, these are better, these look better than when I purchased them from the store. They are a very dark, very nice black. A true black. So this dye seems to be a lot better, in my opinion, than Ritz dye. The chemical makeup of it is different. So that's just how it is compared to Ritz dye. To me, Ritz dye just sits on it and you can wash off. But I'm going to let these sit for their hour, and you know what? I might end up throwing in the onesies, because I've let these soak for a little bit and then throw the onesies in, because the first thing you put in there is going to be what picks up the most color. The onesies, I kind of want to hide the stains. Like I said, if they turn out, great. If they don't, I'm not too worried about it, because I was going to throw them. But with these colors, I'm going to put them in. So I will be right back with those. Okay, and I am back. Excuse me. I got the aqua first, so I will do the aqua. So like I said, you probably can't see this. Like, this is a onesie. It's newborn size, and I should clarify, I don't have blowout stain ones. Those we usually just threw away, because I thought they were utterly disgusting and we could never get the blowout colors out. It's just formula staining. So, you know, not something that's too terribly bad. And I mean, look at even. It's really beautiful coloring. And this one is 12 months. And once again, same thing. For the onesies, I'm kind of just dipping them in like this to make sure they're not getting bunched up. There was one lady that was kind of trying to compare Dylon dye to Ritz dye, and she would just leave them bunched up and throw them in, and then she would get kind of a little irritated. This is another 0 to 3 months. This is the Crico brand from Target that they used to have before Cat and Jack. She would kind of ball them up and throw them in, and then she was getting irritated that there wasn't a lot of major coverage. And then this one is a Carter's 24 month, and these are the ones that were the worst, just because my son wore them a lot. Being we lived in North Dakota in the winter, to get the use out of our t-shirts that we always bought, we would put like a white onesie underneath it, and we put a white onesie underneath what he was wearing, under his t-shirts. So he wore those a lot. That, and my mom always had this thing about a baby in winter wearing a onesie. So, and like these are already getting pretty good coloring. But yeah, the lady that I had watched was kind of irritated because she would ball them up, and like, say for instance, this would be the center, it wouldn't have as great a coverage there. So, and I brought out a bowl to rinse the color off the spoon, and my hands. I did notice when I was in my house rinsing off the bowl, like I had said, I'm going to be not using this. I'm only going to be using these items just for dyeing. I would never use them for food purposes. When I was inside, I noticed on the spoon that it's holding some of the coloring in it, and that kind of shows why I wouldn't use these. I know, look at how this is sat in a while. It's turning out beautiful. But I know the one lady, she said that she went to Goodwill and bought a bunch of random pots, stainless steel pots, and like I noticed one of hers was like an IKEA pot that she said she got at a major, she wasn't using name brands except for the Dylon, but you could tell that some of hers also came from IKEA. So, I mean, those are ideas if you want to do stainless steel pots. I just went to the dollar store. The buckets were $1. This container was up by like where like the spoons and spatulas and everything are. That's where I found it. It was $1. The spoon was $1. The gloves, I guess I've never looked at the dollar store, but I purchased these gloves from, these are medical gloves that I purchased from CVS. But this is a little onesie. This is a preemie onesie. Neither of my kids wore them. My daughter was born 8/8. My son was 10/9. But even like just quickly dipping in it, it's a pretty purple. That one was one I purchased for the Reborns. This is also, I mean, this dye I would have no problem putting on a Reborn after it's been properly washed a couple times. And also when I washed it, I washed with the dye catchers. But Ritz dyed items I don't think I would wash or put on a Reborn. I just, especially after like a lot of those Reborns that were purple color washed, well, it did its job. After a while, that's what ugly this is. After a while, the purple would seep completely through the vinyl, so they would start not looking so great after a couple of years. So maybe it's just me. I guess I wouldn't use Ritz dye clothing. Just like when I purchase clothing for my dolls, I always wash it first. It's actually coming right off the table. I always wash first. Like my neonates and baby thingamabobs, and okay, this table is disgusting. Sorry about that. With the neonates, right on the care sheet, they always said, you know, wash clothing first before putting it on the doll. I believe baby think it over. Their instructions are the same thing, especially like reds and blacks. And like very rich colors like this would be. I mean, obviously this is going to be washed a few times before I'd even think of putting it on a Reborn. But I mean, I'm throwing out ideas depending upon how the onesies turn out. I might put them in the consignment sale bundled together. And I am loving this blanket. Depending upon how they turn out, I might do them in the consignment sale. I might try to upcycle some of them into dresses. I guess I don't know. My mother-in-law gets her PhD in May, and then she said this summer she is going to teach me how to use my sewing machine that I have had for like 4 years and have never once used. It used to be my mother's sewing machine, and she never used it. She had no idea how to sew and use it. The only time that it was ever used was my dad tried to use it, and I don't even remember what he was using it for, but look at how great that purple is. I am in love with this purple. And being it sat for a while, hasn't been quite an hour yet. Let's see if I can find one of the onesies in there yet. Here we go. Even like just this going in, look at how great they're turning out. These colors are very beautiful. And some of that dye, obviously, when you rinse it out, they will wash out. But I am going to let them sit for a little while like you're supposed to. Just kind of, it says to let them sit, leave them alone. Come and stir them every so often. Well, here's even the blanket. The blue, this Bahama blue is very... When I picked the colors for these 3 blankets, I wanted a boy color. Obviously, the flower would be more girly. And then the bees, I had to do yellow. So, I will be back in probably about an hour. And I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch buckets of water for an hour. So, we will be back as soon as it's time to rinse them. If I can get my glove off. When it's time to rinse, I will be back. I will bring out a bucket to rinse them in. And I will also be bringing my drying rack outside, as I want them to dry outside. Okay, we are back, and I'm trying to get a better shot. I guess this is as good as it's gonna get. So you can see in the background, the drying rack is put out. I have a bucket of cold water to rinse everything out. This is where you really need the gloves. Before, it's kind of a choice. I chose to wear them. In other videos I've seen, the people are wearing like big, thick, like dishwashing gloves. I don't have any of those. I only had these. So I went with what I have. I'm going to start out with the blue, since it is the lighter of the two colors. I will start out with the blanket. I am going to try to squeeze as much of the dye and coloring out, not so much coloring, squeeze as much of the dye out into the bucket before I rinse it. I took my sweatshirt off to do this part. And another reason why I'm only doing 2 colors at a time is for the drying rack. The one video I watched, the lady did like 4 or 5 colors at one time and had one drying rack, and she said some of the colors bled into each other. But as you can see in the water, some of the dye will come out, but it still is this very, very, I'm liking this. I am glad I did this. This very nice blue color. When I got the prints, honestly, this bear print on the muslin blanket, the black was kind of light. So at first I do have, I believe, like more of a royal blue color than this aqua. Well, it's Bahama blue, but it's more of an aqua blue. And I love this color. Don't get me wrong, but at first I was going to do that color. And then I'm like, you know what, that might be too dark because the lines on this bear blanket are so light. And I'm not seeing any spots that looks like it got a pretty good even coverage. I'm not seeing where it's more concentrated in one area or the other. It looks kind of when it's bunched up, but that's just kind of how muslin blankets are. And there's the little bears. So I am going to go hang this on the drying rack. But yeah, she had a drying rack, and she said having so many colors, she was trying to spread them out, but even spreading them out, she got some dye transfer. I will probably have to go try to find my clothespins because it's starting to get a little windy out to make sure nothing blows away. See if we can find some onesies now. And here is one onesie. The onesies I'm just going to kind of all throw in at once. And even at that, they weren't in as long as the blanket, but they turned out very nice as well. And here's another one. And honestly, the dye color I'll probably just dump in the backyard. I believe it's non-toxic. I believe it is, because others have dumped it out in their yard in videos. Some drained it down, that they used their kitchen sink to do it. So they just drained it in their drain. Okay, there should be 4 onesies. Let's see if this is 1 or 2. Oh, this is 2. And look, at here's even, this one got a little bit, like you can see, this one kind of looks a little tie-dyed, which honestly looks kind of cool. And then here's this one. This one looks really evenly colored. I think it's because that 24 months was the last one. The last thing to go in is usually going to be what gets the least amount of dye on it. And like I mentioned before, these onesies were all going to be tossed anyways, or at least the stained up ones, so I figured, you know what, why not give it a try? And they turned out pretty well. You can't see the formula stains on them anymore. So, I would say that's a success. And I'm not going to change water between this blue and purple because the purple is much darker. And this is the last one that went in. This is the 24-month Carter one. And honestly, that one kind of looks tie-dye. It looks like that's what I was going for, which it wasn't, but you know what? I know what it is. I believe this is one that my mom bleached. So that would probably explain why the tie-dye look, but really I kind of like, I'm digging the tie-dye look on this onesie. So I will just leave it. You know what? This one I will just throw back in by itself and let it sit a little bit longer. And then do that one after I pick my daughter up from school. Come back and rinse that one off. Because all the rest of them seem to get pretty good coverage. I do think that one is because of bleach, but we'll see. Maybe if it's in by itself, it'll do a little bit better. This one, kind of the same. It's a little more coverage in some areas than others. So that one will probably go back in. I'm not sure what's going on. And this one looks pretty good. So, this one is the newborn sized one. Honestly, that kind of looks a little blotchy too. Well, I guess these three will sit in there longer, which I am perfectly fine with that. I'll just get them in there. I was mostly thinking of getting the blankets out right away, so I will just leave those in there a little bit longer, and we will get to this purple. Or the intense violet is what I believe it was called. And I will say this bending over is kind of hard on the back. Some people do it all on the ground, so if they kickle the bucket tips over, they're not too worried about it. And before rinsing, this is what the purple blanket turned out to be. I mean, you can see this one, the flowers were very dark black. I'm not exactly sure why one of them, the print was darker than the other, but actually the water's turning a really cool shade of blue, mixing the two together. You can mix the dyes together. Like, say for instance, I decided I liked this color of dye. You can mix the two colors of dyes together to make, would be close to like this color blue. This is just the rinsing tub, so dye won't be transferred from it, or shouldn't be transferred from it. And on top of it, these are muslin blankets, so if anybody knows anything about muslin blankets, every time you wash them, they absorb a little bit more. I have washed these muslin blankets probably a good 5, 6, 7 times. And I have muslin blankets from my kids that still, they're not all the same. there's not any like pre-folds when you prep them. You should wash them probably about 5-6 times before you dye them. And I did that with them. But this is still even after rinsing it. And I will wash them. I will wash all the purple stuff together and all the blue stuff together. And just quick rinse loads with a color catcher. But I really like this purple. It's a very nice purple. So I put that down here. Trying to kind of put the onesies towards the top. And let's see if those onesies are done. In the purple. And also, when you do this, I wouldn't wear white clothes. That's probably noticing right now I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore last night when I put the drying rack together. Oops. And the reason for that is because this one's gonna go back in. It's the only black shirt I could find that was clean, semi-clean. I didn't really want to get any other ones. And I'm starting to wonder if that blanket absorbed most of my purple dye. Most of these are coming out. Kind of that splotchy tie-dye look, and I don't think all of them were. And this one I will leave. This one looks really awesome. I'm liking how this one turned out. So this one I will leave. A few of them I'll probably put in a little bit longer, but this purple tie-dye, that one I'm leaving. That looks great. The green, or the blue tie-dyed one, the reason why I threw that one back in was because how splotchy it was and where it was. This looks like it was meant to be that way. This one, yeah. That one looks like it's supposed to be that way. Let's look at these two. You know what? The purple I'm just going to leave because the way the purple ones turned out, they look like they're supposed to be that way. Except for that one. So, we got one purple that went back in and three blues. I am going to leave them hang dry. I can get this up so you can see the drying rack. And it looks like my battery's about to die too. So here's my drying rack. That's how we place them on there. Onesies on top, blankets on bottom. That way the onesies can drip their color down, as well as the blankets. I can already see the blue blankets dripping a little bit more. But I will probably in a different video show the final touches after I've washed everything. Probably do that on my Sunday video. So I hope everybody enjoyed this dyeing and have a great day.